Howdy, folks. Welcome to another episode of the Reseller Niche Podcast. I'm here with Russ. How's it going, Russ?
It's going good, Mo. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. Would you like to introduce our guest for today?
I would. This is. We have a guest today. Her name is Melinda. Melinda is from my favorite picking city in the United States, quickly becoming my second favorite after being in Savannah. But she is in Shreveport, Louisiana. I have known a member of Melinda's family for quite a few years, and then Melinda and I connected the last time I was in Shreveport. She had an estate sale. Melinda does estate sales. She's been putting them on. So welcome, Melinda.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's just a pleasure. It really is, because I feel we're going to get a lot of nice insight from you being on the other side of a reseller area, because you still are a reseller to a point. You know, you're kind of a middleman. Absolutely. So how long have you been doing estate sales?
Between my mother and myself, probably close to 12 to 15 years for me. And
Right.
I helped her when I was younger. So about 20 years total.
About 20 years, and it was all in the Shreveport area.
Shreveport, Bossier, Minden, Dallas. We did a lot in Dallas because she lived there. And in Garland. And now we've kind of moved over to Austin also.
Oh, nice. So
wow.
you do.
Yeah, there's not too
you
many
do
places we won't go.
Being that what is Austin, about 5-6 hours from you? 7 hours?
It's about 5.5 for me to
Five
drive.
and a half. And Dallas
Yeah.
is 3.5, depending on what side of Dallas you're going to be on.
Right.
So you're in a region area, so it's not
Correct.
all the same stuff each time. So what I kind of want to do is just I know nothing about your end of estate sales, and
Right.
so I'm just going to ask newbie questions. If I sound dumb,
Sure.
that's okay, because that's typically
No
how
dumb
I sound.
questions. Well, that's how we all learn, isn't it?
That's right. And
I'm still learning about them.
Reselling is a constant learning. That's what.
It does. It changes
Oh,
too, constantly.
So how does somebody contact you? Is it typically there's been a death in the family, or there's a purge where they're getting ready to downsize?
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So is
If they're
it
going
through?
to place mom in the nursing home, might call me also.
Right. Or if a couple's deciding to retire, or if somebody
Right.
just doesn't want to do a garage sale, they call you. You're going to do the whole house thing. Now,
Correct.
where is your typical client as far as, like, are they mainly the retirees? Mainly somebody has moved on to the nursing home?
Probably about 75% are the death estates where mom or dad, aunt or uncle, passed, and the children or family members really don't want all the things that mom and dad had, so they call us to liquidate it.
Gotcha.
And then
Gotcha.
we have
Now-
some that are just putting them in the nursing home, and we'll downsize all of mom and dad's stuff then. So it's more of a living estate
Now-
sale.
In the area where there's a death estate, is it typically before probate, after probate? Doesn't have to play in the probate. Doesn't play in it.
No, not typically. Usually, I haven't run into any problems between family members, surprisingly, because, sometimes death brings out the best or the worst in people, so, emotions. But typically, the families all come together and they are in agreement with what we need to do. And, we talk to them about items that they might want to keep in the family. If we come across items that they didn't even know existed, sometimes we'll get with them on those items and make sure it's not something they want for their children or grandchildren. But yeah, we don't have much trouble with probates and things like that.
Oh, okay. So that's not part of your deal. You let the family deal with all that, and if there's,
Correct.
That's good that you haven't had any family problems. That's where I hear.
None.
If you could, Melinda, adjust your screen again for me.
Okay.
We got half.
To my
we
right
got
or
half
left?
Back to your left, like you did earlier.
How's that?
There we go.
There
There
we
we
go.
go. We got you sliding out about halfway. So,
Okay.
all right. So, they do that. What is your typical time frame? Are you looking at when you have somebody contacts you? You have an estate. Now you're going to go through how many hours, how many weeks are you looking at on average? I know at each estate would be different depending on the item.
Oh, absolutely. If they are what I call, I'm sorry, more of a like a, I hate to use the word hoarder, but a collector of items. Those houses take me a lot longer, sometimes 3 weeks. I don't usually go over 3 weeks. I can pull
3
one
weeks.
together in a week if I must, if I need to. But I really like to have 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh,
And
well, if I cut in there real fast,
sure, go
I
ahead.
was going to ask, in terms of prep work for something like that, for something that's going to take you 3 weeks, that sounds like a lot of background stuff you're going to have to do and prep. I mean,
It's
can you kind of give us an
right.
idea
It's
of
about
what?
16 to 20 hours a day.
Oh, wow.
So we,
That kind
yeah,
of
we work
entails is that kind
long.
of what are you doing in that time?
Well, the first thing I do is try to put like items together when I come in the home. Sometimes we'll find kitchen items in a closet in a bedroom, so we try to get things in the same room. Then we wash, clean any items that need it, repair the items before we even. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we even start to mark anything. The marking part takes quite a long time. That's the heavy part.
Oh, yeah.
But some homes items are very clean, no dust. But if something's been in a closet or a cabinet for years, it can have a film or dust on it, and it doesn't reflect on their housekeeping. It's just storage issues.
That
So
Right.
makes
we
Yeah.
sense.
spend a lot of time doing that.
Oh, wow.
Now, when you're doing that, I thought of something like, man, you've got all those items. I mean, the one that I went to there in South Shreveport, that house was packed. And
Correct.
it's okay to say hoarder on our show because we love hoarders.
Love them.
We love
Right,
we
right.
love them.
Well, I
Yeah,
think I've
'cause-
become a hoarder, so
yeah.
I think we all
I
are.
use it as a term of endearment.
It's a
Right.
we call our hoarder habit online sales. So
There you
There
go.
you
but
go.
that house
And then
was
the other, oh, packed, the cabinets all the
yeah.
way back, right,
Oh yeah,
solid.
yeah. It was packed, and I'm
So,
thinking, I was thinking about like your knowledge that you have to go. You're not. How much stuff are you looking up? I mean, you just have the knowledge. Okay, here's a camera, $20. Here's this, $10. Here's
right.
that. You got to move quick.
You know, yeah, in fairness to the family, even though I like to think I have some knowledge on cameras and different items, I still research. So I spend a lot of hours after things have been cleaned up, just researching to make sure there hadn't been a change in the market. Different areas, the pricing can change drastically. What we sell in Shreveport is not going to sell the same item, for instance, in Austin, will sell for a great deal more.
Makes
So,
sense. Yeah.
I try to keep up with the market, but on a lot of items, I spend time researching because I want the family to get the best deal.
This
What are
is,
some of
I have
your
a kind of a
research?
silly
Oh,
question
sure. Go
because
ahead.
What's that?
whenever I go to estate sales, one of the first things, the most prominent things are those glass cabinets or cabinets that have display, probably the most expensive stuff. How do you, I mean, maybe it's different by area or different by type of house. How do you, or is there something you look for those cabinets? Like, or more than other
Like,
stuff, like in terms of, like you want to display your most expensive, the most valuable things are going to be
oh,
attracting people. So are there
right,
things you
right.
look for more than other things?
We definitely, the high dollar items, and again, it depends on the area. I could have, say, an antique gun cabinet that would sell in Shreveport for $100. Austin, it would sell for a couple of hundred. But the items that go around it, we keep closer to security issues, and
Okay.
but it's high dollar items stay closer to the front. You probably will
Gotcha.
find that almost at any estate sale. Further back in the house it gets, it's harder to watch people, and we certainly want to protect everybody's items. So high dollar items are usually displayed better, and they're in the front.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
That's a good
Jewelry
pro
and things
tip
like
for us
that.
to remember. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And then
What?
I guess in terms of, like you said, something that would be maybe not so high dollar. Have you ever run into items that are maybe you weren't allowed to sell, or you had to check with the owner first, or that,
Yes
or
and
maybe they
no.
changed their mind?
When we walk in the door, we are fixing to sign a contract. I ask them what items do they want to keep. Is there anything that they do not want me to sell that they just haven't had a chance to get out of the home? And if so, I will mark it as sold already so that the family's in no hurt. They don't have to get it out that week or anything.
Oh,
But
okay.
if they want to come look at the stuff after we've got it displayed before we open to the public, they can take anything, but we make a list, and of course, I still charge my commission off of those items because they've had, from the day mom or dad died until they've signed the contract, to find the items they want.
That
Yeah.
makes
You still
sense.
have to
So
get paid. You expect to get paid. Yeah.
I expect to get paid, and they
Right.
understand that. I've never had a problem, and certainly I don't want to have anything sold that they won't. I mean, it's their property, so.
Right.
And we try
Gotcha.
to work with them. If we find something that nobody knew was there, I'm not going to charge a commission on it or anything. Certainly they can have it
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
because it's their stuff at the end of the day.
And I guess to add to that, have you ever found something, or should I say, somebody walking into the estate sale, something maybe that's marked sold, or maybe that the owners of the house weren't considering selling, that someone kind of pushes you on, says, "I really want that piece. I really want that." Is there any way
I
that they
wouldn't
can?
even, all I can do is call the family member and let
Okay,
them know that somebody's interested. And, if they want me to sell it, I can. If they still want to keep it for themselves, that's okay too. I will make a phone call, but I would never make that decision for the family,
gotcha, gotcha.
if that's what you're asking me.
Yeah, yeah. See, I always, I'm that guy that's
Oops,
probably
sorry.
going to be asking that question. That's why I asked that.
Yeah, and sometimes we find items that would embarrass the deceased person or the
Oh,
family
okay.
members. So if we come across things like anything that could be embarrassing or inappropriate,
Yeah,
we tell the family we're going to discard it without even telling them.
gotcha.
Gotcha.
We're not going to give them odd memories of mom and, you know, that they didn't know of if mom had a
Sure.
different side of her.
Yeah. All of mom's
And believe it or not, we
letters to
find a
her
lot of
boyfriend.
interesting
Oh.
things.
Oh well.
Yeah, we
Everybody
find a
has.
lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. And we've talked
That
about
dark
that.
side.
Yes. Last week we were talking with or earlier this week we were talking about things we find in every estate or every
Mm-hmm.
storage locker, and there's interesting things, and in every
Crazy.
estate. So
And
we just
I don't know how the other companies do, but we go through every drawer, every piece of paper. We don't just say, make an offer or whatever. We go through and mark every single solitary item, every
Well,
item.
you would have to, Melinda. Wasn't this trip out there, but the trip before I think it was October. Terry, my
Uh-huh.
brother-in-law, and I, we picked a hoarder house, and they had sold the house lock, stock, and barrel. Thought they'd got everything out, and
Yeah.
the second person that had the house just said, "You come in and grab whatever you want, pay me whatever you want, because it's going to save me dumpster fee." We found silver. That the family's
Right.
going to miss. Yeah, so you've got
Yeah,
to go through everything. That's why that's part of your job, I guess.
it is. And even clothing, especially with the elderly, they're notorious for pinning money inside of pockets or
Oh yeah.
jackets in the closet. And if we find that money, we do give it to the families. We don't keep it for
Got it.
ourselves. But
Got it.
but I see people go through a lot of clothes at our estate sales, and I think they must have at some estate sales found money or jewelry. So yeah, people
Yeah.
will hide stuff in strange places.
Yeah. All right, so that's on the prep and the setup and everything. Uh, kind of what I wanted to speak of next is, and I'll tell you the front story. When I first started out, I was scared to death to tell people, like, if I went to an estate sale, that I was a reseller and going to find something to make some more money off of it. I
Right,
thought that they were going to hate me,
right, right. I love
and
resellers.
that's my point. Now that I know
Hmm.
that estate people like yourself love resellers, you see the same buyers at every one of your sales.
Absolutely. There's a whole, I call it a circus of them that come through, and usually they kind of follow each other. It's like I know who's going to come after, the first one that comes. I know the people in the order they come in usually.
You know
So
their
they kind of
routines,
follow
yes.
each other. Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
do you reach out to them when you see something like, hey, Bob, you're into photography or you're into
Right, right.
home movies? Yeah. Do you reach out
Uh-huh.
to them?
I
Okay.
do. I have a list, even for my regular customers. If they say I'm looking for tools, no, I'm not going to keep a lookout. But if you are specific on items, um, like antique tools, yes, I will call you when I know I have them, or
Gotcha.
Another
guitars, or
tip right
whatever it
there. Be
is.
specific.
Yeah. Be
Yeah, I mean,
specific.
everybody
Very
wants to get an early look, but out of fairness, I do pre-sale items, and people that have a specific need, if I have the item, they can come look the night before for that item. They don't get to go through the whole house, but if I have like that antique hammer, they can come see if they want that hammer.
Oh, that is a great pro tip right there.
So I
Reach out.
don't know
Yeah.
that all of them do it, but it never hurts to ask.
Never hurts to ask.
Um,
Right. Right.
you
Because
know,
ultimately, we're all in business to make money and
right.
move product, and and if we can work
And for the
together.
family, they want it sold. I always ask them if I'm allowed to pre-sale. If they will allow me to, then I certainly will. I'll put
So
big items or whatever on the internet and on the estate sale nets, and pre-sale items if necessary.
that's a good one to remember, Mo. Pre-sale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's about the family making their money.
Right.
That's why we're there, is for them. So
You
I
don't
wouldn't
want
sell the
leftovers.
items.
Right.
No, no,
Yeah.
no,
So,
no.
so how do you feel, Melinda, when you hear, okay, um, somebody buys something at your estate sale, and they are able to turn around and make a nice profit on it if they come back and tell you, hey, I made, you sold me that for $50 and I sold it for 300.
I'm
You okay with
excited for
that?
them. I
Good. Good. Yeah.
absolutely, because I price things at fair market value or just below it, and the families totally understand how I mark my items. Um, and if they're happy with the price I've put on it, and I'm happy with the price, I'm thrilled if you can make money.
Nice. I mean,
Absolutely, I'm
have you
thrilled.
have you seen it where sometimes maybe does the family know about any of the? I mean, do they ever have like how should I say this? Do they ever ask you to increase it if they see a lot of interest in something, or are they usually not there at all?
They can try, but I have a pretty good contract, and I explain it with my company. I can't speak for all of the companies, only for mine, of course, but I let them know I have the final say in pricing. Um, they can reserve if they say have a guitar that was dad's, and they don't want it. They know they paid $1,000 for it. They won't take less than 800. I can tell them you're not going to sell it, but I will put 800 on it.
Got it.
But I have to let them know though, if it doesn't sell, I still get my commission
Got it.
because they've put a reserve on it, which, if I know it's unreasonable, I have to let them know up front. But
That's
my contract does state, other than the reserved items that I have to know about at the signing of the contract, any other items or afterthoughts, I have the final say.
Okay. That makes
because
sense.
otherwise I might not would sell anything, you know.
Yeah, that
They
makes
start
sense.
getting, people want more and more, and, you know, I have to be reasonable with them.
Now,
Absolutely.
one of the things that I've had the pleasure of being able to do is go to a lot of state sales in different parts of the country, and Shreveport to me was one of the smartest because you had sales started on either Thursday or Friday,
Right.
and then Saturday morning is usually 25% off, and then after 1 o'clock they shut down for an hour, and then after 1 o'clock it's 50% off tag. And
Right. I don't do that.
you don't do that? Okay.
Well, no, what I do is on the second day, we go to 50% when we open the doors.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
gotcha.
And then we do a third day at 75%.
That's right. That's right. Because we went back that next day. Yeah. On Sunday. So.
Right.
And you were
Find the
and
people
you
So
were
I
since.
think we're
cleaned
the only
out.
one that do that.
Oh, okay.
But it's hard
What?
for people to get back, you know, to come back and like 3 or 4 times. And I don't want to inconvenience. And the families know that I'm going to go at 50% right off the bat at that morning. Um, so, you know, so far I've not had any problems with clients, families. Everybody seems to be happy with it.
That's actually pretty smart, Melinda, because what you're doing is you're putting yourself ahead of the other companies in Shreveport. Because I'll hit you in the
Yeah.
morning. Like when I'm out now, I'll know to hit Melinda's cell in the morning on Saturdays
Right.
instead of waiting. And because I want to go
Yeah.
to you first. Yeah.
Right. And I
Smart.
don't think
That's smart.
anybody really, you know, I don't do it to get over on the other estate companies. I just
No,
do it
no.
because
Yeah.
it just makes sense to me to get rid of the items.
Yeah.
Families need it sold, and I just don't want to haggle over a few percentage, you know, because if people really want the item, they're going to pay full price. You know,
Yeah.
they're not going to take a chance it's going to be gone. So,
Now you said the word haggle. You know,
right.
what kind of leadway do you usually give? It's Saturday, it's late. You're going to give a little bit more leadway, or you're going to tell them come back tomorrow. It's 75%. First day I walk in and I say, Melinda, I'm buying all this stuff. You got it up for 300, but I'm up. I want to pay you 200. What's that conversation going to go like?
That conversation will go that, well, hey, Russ, why don't we put you a bid in? And by noon tomorrow, you know, at the 50% sale, I will, we close down for that hour to re-straighten everything for people and to take a
Right.
lunch break ourselves. But we do the bids at noon. So a 50% bid, it has to be greater than 50% if you want me to give it to you before the end of the day. So if you
Gotcha.
just went down, you know, that $100, you would probably win the bid. I would just tell you to put your bid in. But would I give it to you the day before? No,
Right.
because that would
Right.
be not fair to the other agencies. Kind of an
And
unspoken rule.
yeah, because what I found that there's not a lot of haggle room from a buyer's perspective, but
Right.
you just everybody
But I
has
will
their
say
price.
this on our, right, and on our third day, when we're going to be at 75%, if, if enough items are purchased, we'll make you a good deal even over that 75% on the last day.
Right.
The later the day gets, the better I'm willing at that point to haggle or will and deal. But before then, it's really not fair to the other companies,
Gotcha. Now, what typically
other
happens
than by
to your
bid.
what happens to your leftover items after that? After that Sunday, you're done. It goes. Do those items then go back to the family?
No, yes and no. That's a good question. When I visit with the family to find out what they're expecting out of the whole thing, you know, because everybody has an idea of what they want or whatever. Most families don't want to deal with any item. And I think we might be the only estate sale that does this, but we will totally remove every item out of the house for them if they won't. Because like they want to sell the house, they don't want to deal with it. They
Right.
just want it gone. Yes, I will donate items to the different charities in Shreveport, Bossier, or whatever city I'm in. Then there are some items that I will call a local person and sell it as a, kind of like you would a storage locker. You know, you
Yeah.
can take all of this for a flat fee because that gets the family more money. We try that also. Sometimes I just go on the internet and put, come get it, it's free now.
Gotcha.
You
I've
know,
got, I
and
made
they'll come
a
clear it
buddy.
out.
I made a buddy in Shreveport that I think he bought some of those lots from you. And he
Uh-huh.
was doing, he had just started up, like, I think last summer. And he was doing
Yeah.
well. He
Yeah.
he had a lot of stuff. That was his main problem. He had too much
Too
stuff and
much,
not enough
probably.
room. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they're going
But
to come and buy us out, I'm going to let them pack it up. Otherwise, I'll pack it up, whatever's left, and donate it. If I can resell some of it, the family knows up front if it's left over. If they want it at that point, they can come back and get it. I don't really care. But if not, I might resell some of the items. But typically, I stay busy enough that I don't really care to do that. The sale you were at in South Shreveport, within 20 minutes of the ad I put in to come, just come get it if you want what's left, that house was literally cleaned out within minutes.
Is
wow.
that
It
by
was
company?
crazy. It
Is
wasn't
that,
much left over.
oh,
It was
wow.
like at 6 at night, 7 at night after the sale was totally over. It was
Is that
mostly
someone that you see
books.
that comes? Is that like a company that waits for that, or like a regular that kind of, or
No, it depends what the family, you know, some families are like, just donate it. So I will if
gotcha?
that's what they want. If they don't care how I get rid of it, then the things that can't resell or that's not really donatable, those items would be some that I would say on the internet, Facebook, all the different avenues. If you want to come get this lot of books, come on, it's free now. It'll be on the street in 5, 10 minutes.
Do you think
So the
that
people will come and,
I think what Mo was asking, the person that usually grabs that free item from you, are they a reseller that's been there before? Are they somebody that you've maybe seen out on, in the circus?
no, they're usually just people that see the ad and
Just
literally we'll
got
have maybe 100 people show up. They
wow.
probably
Oh
didn't even
wow.
come to the sale, but you say the word free, well, I think we
And
had
they,
probably over 100
wow,
come in,
Wow.
yeah.
wow.
And sometimes it becomes a circus. That's when I need security because they'll fight over, 2, 3 books that people will literally get crazy over it,
But about
you
like the
know.
Goodwill bins, Mo, sound like,
Yeah, sounds
Oh,
like it.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It's exactly what it's like. I've been to
So
there. Yeah, so it's fun. I mean, it's entertaining to say the least.
Well, that's good. It sounds like everything goes no matter what. So
Yeah,
that's
we
cool.
try to clean it out for the families because usually they're ready to sell the house. We can do that also. If there's cars, houses, we can facilitate the sale of those.
Oh wow. Are you coordinated with like a realty company or other
Well,
people or?
my son and I both had our real estate license. I decided not to renew mine, but I
Okay.
am in touch with many, many amazing realtors that um, can turn a house fast. So I get with them and we get it sold. So yeah,
Wow.
we can do anything. Some people
no,
don't want, they want it gutted, we can do that.
one of the
Okay.
things I've noticed, Melinda, is, and this is, I go to a state sale. I've gotten now where I can walk in and tell if it's a staged one or if it's a real, what I call a real one. Like what you put on is real ones. You've worked directly with the family. It's their stuff.
Right.
Have you heard of that where people are staging and like they'll bring all of their it's an estate sale and they'll bring all their stuff.
Yes, I've seen that happen. I don't really like that practice of people because I think they're pushing items of their own, and it's to me would hurt the families. Now, what I have done, and the families, it's always with their permission. If I take at the end of the sale, like I know that certain items, kitchen items, sell really well in general, but maybe they didn't sell at this estate sale. If I have family's permission, I will take those items and save them for when there is a sale that the people have everything but kitchen items, and I will donate those to that family. I don't
Gotcha.
bring the money to myself, I donate it.
Gotcha, yeah.
The same at the sale you were at, if they didn't have, say, bath towels. If I have some, I'll go donate them to the family because people expect to come in and see things in every room, kitchen, they expect bathroom items. They don't have it all donated if I have it. But I don't keep it
Gotcha.
separate, I don't keep track of it. I make a commission no matter what. So everybody, the family made more money, I made a commission, so everybody's happy. But
Everybody's
to
happy.
stage a home, I don't like doing that. That's not fair to the family.
Yeah, I just I don't feel those. You know, it's like I can go in, I know everything's gonna be their set prices and I don't, but, all right,
And,
so let's
you know,
talk
we
about,
price differently too, depending on the area of the town.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed that.
oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
just the area, yeah, right, yeah, big difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the items that you know are always gonna go and they go quick. That the people are coming in. Now each person's different. You know, I go for one thing, Mo goes for another thing. But what when you put something out, you know, boom, this is going to. What are those items?
The kitchen items always sell really fast, especially vintage. Anything vintage in the kitchen, Pyrex, it doesn't matter. It can be, you know, milk glass or whatever. It's going to sell fast. Doesn't matter what side of town or what city we're in, those items
Right.
go fast. So do tools. Tools go extremely
Tools.
fast. I think the men really like the tools and the garage kind of stuff that's in homes. That always sells fast. Bathroom things sell fast. Clothes, not so much.
Elaborate on the bathroom things because that's an area I know nothing about.
Some families, when they're going to want to sell a house, they don't want, for instance, the shower curtain to be sold. I've seen it where they've had the rods permanently put in with their shower curtain, basically, and I've had people take them down. But yeah, I've had them disconnect the toilet seats to bring to purchase.
Oh, wow.
So anything in a bathroom, if it's not anchored down, people will bring it literally. I'm expecting one day to see a whole toilet come up front because the seats have come, the knobs off of the sinks, and so we do a lot of repairing. If people do that, we try to warn people don't take the things that
Yeah.
are permanent. But some people don't listen. But we always make sure the house is back intact when we leave. So yeah, the
Yeah.
kitchen stuff, the yard stuff sells real well. Bathroom towels, makeup lotion. You know, I'm always amazed at what people will buy, like used soap, bath soap, like the bars.
Oh, wow.
I could sell them all day long. I don't know what people do with them. I'm thinking maybe they do crafts or something, but yeah, all of that kind of things.
Yeah, I kind of hope.
Kleenex.
I hope so. They do something. Bar soap's
Isn't
kind
it
of
crazy?
cheap, but yeah. But
Yeah.
hey, if it, you know, Melinda, I always say I don't understand a lot of the things I sell and why people buy them because I'm not that way, but I sure will sell to them.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh
gonna
yeah,
argue.
and I sometimes put weird stuff together to sell it. And I had a man one time come through, and he was like going around showing everybody, look what they've got here, look what they put together, and he was laughing. And when he checked out, he said, "I just have to buy this because I can't believe anybody would try to sell it." I said, "Well, you just bought it, didn't you?"
I think it kind of
So,
makes yourself feel
yeah.
better.
Yeah. So I don't
Melinda-
care, I'll put it
Melinda knew
together. I
what she
don't
was doing. Yeah, she put it together thinking somebody's gonna go weird on this, and sure
Yeah,
enough,
they're gonna be
somebody.
like, "Oh, why would they sell that?" Yeah, exactly. It was like
Oh,
a
that's
rusted
awesome.
towel holder and a toothbrush. People will
Oh.
buy it just because it's weird. Yeah.
So, how about going from the weird? What is, say, the most interesting or coolest or thing that you've seen or sold? Or
I think the coolest thing for me was I was doing an estate sale, and there was this little elderly woman. I think she was like 98 next door, and she wanted me to come look at her rocking chair. So to see if I could sell it for her. Well, of course, I was going to sell it for her. She's 98. When I'm not going to say no. So I
Right.
go over there, and it's a gorgeous chair. It's just solid wood, but you could tell it was handmade. And she told me the story of how her mother and father were slaves, and her dad made this rocking chair for the mother to take care of their master's children
Oh my
and rock
goodness.
them.
Wow.
So this chair was, oh gosh, 150 years old or something. It was the coolest thing I ever saw. I absolutely loved it. And so we sold it, and she was so happy, And all I could do was, I was in awe of the stories she told me and the history that went with it. It was not only sad, but there was a lot of humor there too. The family, I would have loved to have known her mom and dad because the history was amazing,
Yeah, the
Yeah.
and that
history.
these people were very forgiving of what happened in their past, But
Yeah.
yeah, that rocking chair was pretty amazing. I regretted selling it. I wished I would have bought it for myself in hindsight. So
That's with the
it was cool.
antique and that the family like that, the area you're in, a lot of those things do have those great stories with them that,
Yeah,
yeah.
the stories are the best part. I love the stories that the families tell us.
I miss
So
that kind of being in, out of the, I first started out, did antiques years and years ago.
mm-hmm.
But I kind of miss that now, just being into straight hardcore reselling of, you know, but,
Right.
but have
And
got
reselling is
recently,
hard work. I mean, I know you guys have a hard time, it's hard. You've got to get a good price to be able to resell it, or it's not worth it.
right, you got to get it to the right amount. If I
Mm-hmm.
remember, I did grab a camera from you because I love the
Mm-hmm.
cameras and I did I did good on it. I knew the
Well,
value
that's
of it, so
good. I
we were
think the
both happy.
one, yeah, the sale you were at, sometimes my items seem a little bit higher. Again, it's based on family, what they're needing to do. Sometimes I have to price a little higher than I would want to, but to make the money for the family. If they're
Right.
trying to get the headstone or they're trying to get mom buried or whatever. So the
Yeah.
situation can also dictate pricing. But I do try to give good prices to people. And certainly, if y'all are looking for particular items or any of your listeners, if they let me know, I'll always keep my eyes open for it and
All
let
right.
them
We
know
can
when I
put your
run
info
across
down
it.
below so people can contact you and
And
everything.
sometimes it's not even at my sale. I go to a lot of sales. So if I see it at another sale, I will call the people and let them know.
And then kind of going back to what you were saying about how you kind of have that real estate background and you know a lot, you have a lot of connections. What
Right,
happens, I've noticed that estate sales here is because houses, they go fast. Sometimes people
right,
show up because they know the house is being sold to check it out
right.
before it goes on the market. Do you see that?
Yeah. I see it every time I do an estate sale.
Okay.
Probably
Okay.
every time I see people. Some are actually, I think, agents. They
Okay.
don't tell me they are, but I'm pretty sure they are just from their language.
Yeah.
But I always give them I get their information and I pass it to the families. If I'm not selling the house, I'll give it to the families so they can make contact.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Well,
so,
But Melinda, again, say your company name so people listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, if they find those things, can get. We'll put a link down to your. You have a
okay.
Facebook
I,
page for your business too, right?
I do. It's O'Leary's. It's
Right.
O'Leary's Estate Sales. Um, that was my great grandmother's name. And honestly, I think she kind of started my grandmother and mother in the business. I think she was probably one of the first people that ever had a tag sale many, many years ago. She used to sell everything. She was more of a gypsy. She would buy stuff and live in a town for a while and then sell it all and move on down the road. So
Oh,
I think it's been
a woman after my own
generations.
heart. That sounds
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like me. Yeah.
And she would get on a bus and just get off somewhere and make it home. Isn't that crazy? But that's how she
That's
did. So,
awesome. That's
yeah.
That's
awesome.
amazing.
So I think she kind of started it for us. But yeah, any of the people, I'll be more than happy to always keep my eyes out.
And is there anywhere else that that people can contact you, say social media like Facebook or anywhere else? They want to ask you a
Yeah,
question or something.
yeah. They can look us up on Facebook. We've got, I can give you my number. Uh, do
Sure.
you want me to give it to you now or just, okay, it's
We
We'll,
can
we'll,
31.
put it down below, or we
we'll,
could get
Just
your
put it
yeah,
in the
we'll
email.
link,
put the,
okay. Yeah, and my website is being rebuilt, so I will get you that information. We've
Okay.
changed companies on that. So
Okay.
my other one should still be up, which is Oleary estatesales.net.
Okay.
That one
We'll
may
get that
still
in
be
there.
active. Okay.
Excellent. Excellent. And
So,
awesome.
I don't want to hold you for too long because we've asked you a
yeah.
myriad of questions
Yeah.
already. But
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on. And I wouldn't,
Absolutely.
to be honest, I know we're going to get a lot of questions. If you wouldn't mind coming back sometime so we could ask you some more,
Oh,
would
I would
that be
love to
okay?
come back. Love to come back.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I think we're all in it together. The customer, the family, you, the resellers. I mean,
I mean,
it's,
seeing it from your side is the coolest thing for me because we always see it from our side. Like all my
Right.
questions are kind of like, oh, from the buyer's perspective. So this is very
right,
cool.
right. And it's hard for me to be a buyer sometimes because I'm so used to being on the other side. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a fun thing to do. I love the both sides of it, the buying and the selling. It's a great deal.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Awesome.
I
Thank
think
you
I'm a
so
garage
much,
sale
Melinda.
queen though. Oh, you're very welcome.
So I just wanted to say thank you for everybody listening, for Russ and myself and Melinda. This is the Reseller Niche Podcast. Check us out on Facebook. We have a little Facebook group, and check us out on iTunes also, and leave us a review if you can. And until the next one, we will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye, guys.
Take care.